Recording in progress.
Good morning, colleagues. Good afternoon, wherever you are.
Good morning, Prof.
Let's now welcome you to the second annual convening of the PedaL Communities of Practice. We intend to run this program for maximum 3 hours. There are a lot of activities you are going to be involved in. So feel at home. This is your home. PedaL is your home. So we'll begin with opening remarks from the Executive Director of PASGA, Dr. Beatrice Muganda. And then we'll have two panels where there'll be moderators leading us in discussions on our experiences in use of PedaL. There'll be a short break, 10 minutes, just for you to refresh yourselves. And then we'll go into a plenary where we shall share our aha moments from the breakout groups. And then Simon Wanda and others will give us an evaluation of PedaL outcomes and impact in the 2 years we've been on this. And then our friend from Italy, who has logged in already, Jethro Petit, will talk to us about proposed PedaL publications. We shall have a question and answer session, and that will be it. So welcome wherever you are. This is your session, and we shall listen to each other, we shall interact, we shall share, so that we see the impact, what we've been doing for the last 2 years. I know that the director of PASGA has been away, so we want to welcome her. Let me see if she has logged in already. She was in the process.
Good morning, Prof. Good morning, Prof. I'm right here.
Okay. I was still looking for you. Now here you are. So she's been on leave, but we want to welcome her to speak to us by way of opening remarks. You can also tell us about where you went. Welcome.
Thank you. My dear PedaL champions and colleagues, good morning, joy. PedaL is thriving today because you and the many academics you have carried along dared to dream with us, speak with us, and act with us. Today, we come together to celebrate your victory in a rough terrain of pedagogical transformation. To each one of you, my dear colleagues, with great joy and humility, I send hearty congratulations for your resilience, fortitude, determination, and massive sacrifices that have made innovations in teaching and learning a reality in 80 of our universities on this continent. And we are still counting. Slightly over a year ago, COVID hit us hard. My dear colleagues, let us observe a moment of silence in blessed memory of the PedaL champions who went to rest in eternal peace. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, as the pandemic came ravaging, our universities shut their doors, disrupting programs and spreading despondency. Our students went back to their homes, sadly, some to the extreme margins of the digital divide. But you refused to be defeated. When PedaL opened its doors, you came through and brought many friends and colleagues along. You made a commitment to PedaL. You spent many hours, days, and nights wading through the PedaL content online, engaging the case studies drawn from your own rich African experiences in higher education, working through scenarios to challenge the authenticity of your African values, reaching out to our excellent team of tireless resource persons each day that passed by. You made an awesome contribution that kept pushing the tide of pedagogical transformation higher and higher. And for that, I say, thank you, and thank you, and thank you, my dear colleagues. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's deeply humbling to stare into your faces, faces of heroic academics who dared to learn new things in teaching and learning after many years of service. Heroic resource persons who believed in their learners, their peers, fellow academics. Your presence here today signifies another level of importance to the decision you made a year ago to PedaL along with us, to tool and retool your skills in the best interests of your students, in online course planning, course design, creative facilitation, and innovative assessment. Your presence here today demonstrates undying commitment to unleash your knowledge and skills in your classrooms and to share with great pride the great strides you have made on your pedagogical journeys, the exceptional learning moments that you deliver in your classrooms every day. Our creative capacities are quickly translating into dividends. I have reviewed artifacts of your pedagogical journey with great admiration. You have demonstrated unmatched creativity in extremely difficult contexts. Your impact stories have won many hearts. Today, PedaL is surging with enrollments, and our universities are lining up to mainstream PedaL innovations because you are such great PedaL ambassadors. Thank you, colleagues. With this PedaL and pedagogical revolution, the students passing through our hands, from the rich experiences you have shared, will never be the same again. It is gratifying to note that your students are more reflective, creative, collaborative, and eager to learn. As educators, there can never be a more worthy cause to face an uncertain world and to reimagine the future. Graduates who are motivated and equipped to build back better what the pandemic has taken away from us. Colleagues, I celebrate your leadership that is enhancing the profiles of your universities and securing the future of generations to come. When I reflect on the journey we have traveled, I can't help but tear. I shed tears of joy, but I also with fueling generators to keep the learning going during power outages. You are always going out of your way to keep up even when the internet is giving up. I can't even begin to imagine the difficult choices you've had to make to PedaL all the way to this point. Sharing your meager resources between data bundles and My apologies. I lost connectivity, but I'm back now.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Colleagues, the journey of pedagogical transformation is a difficult one. I therefore urge you not to rest on your laurels, but to keep marching forward. How? By articulating and implementing your pedagogical goals, pushing the boundaries of your disciplinary knowledge, interconnecting experiences from different national contexts, contributing actively to our growing community of practice, unleashing your creative capacities, nurturing your students to their full potential, creating holistically grounded, civic-savvy, fully functioning members of our society. And above all, ladies and gentlemen, let us join hands to restore the hope of the new generation in a future full of possibilities. This is your calling, true leadership, a leadership with the capacity to percolate every crevice of the education system on this continent. As PASGA and the entire PedaL partnership, you are challenging us in every way to think big about how to present the African pedagogical gems to the world. The podcasts, case studies, scenarios, pictures, simulations, videos, and the very rich content you have created. With these amazing artifacts, I can't help but fix my eyes on a global award-winning pedagogical exhibition. I cannot thank you enough, dear colleagues, for all the wonderful work you're doing. Please do not tire. Your ultimate prize is priceless. Reclaiming the power of our profession to mold a new generation of learners that drive Africa's renaissance. For your contributions to this noble cause from many corners of this continent, I shout out to you. Congratulations, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Director. So colleagues, that has been this inspiring speech from the Director of PASGA as she welcomes us to this second annual convening. Feel welcome. Thank you, Mama PedaL. So we want now to reflect upon the implementation opportunities and challenges that we've had. And there'll be two panels. One panel will be moderated by Professor Jonathan Babalola from the University of Ibadan. Those are the members of the panel. The second, so the members are, if you can allow me, Simon, the members are Dr. Antoinette Tsiboye Dako of University of Ghana, Professor Catherine Jovrin, University of Ibadan, Dr. Patricia Mbugu, Egerton University, Kenya, Hilary Dachi, University of Dar es Salaam, and then Brother Professor Maximiano Gabirano, University, Uganda Matters University. The next panel, second panel, will be moderated by Dr. Michael Walimbwa of Makerere University, Dr. Jeke Tule Soko Tangaza, Professor David Wamukuru, Egerton University, Dr. Anil Kumar from Masai Mara University, and Mrs. Oluwafeyi Kemi Popola, Osun State University. So, panelists, please come in.
Yeah, good morning, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. The first panel will be looking at PedaL Online, reflecting on implementation opportunities and challenges. And the members of the panel have been mentioned by Professor Ahemba. They are members of the steering committee of the various collaborating universities. And it's a pleasure to have Antoinette here. Antoinette, can you just say hi to the audience? Antoinette. Okay. Chowen, Catherine, can you just say hi to the audience? Patricia.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Jonathan.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is Hilary here? Hilary Dachi. Hilary. Okay. Father Max, can you just say hi to the audience? Okay.
Hi, I'm online. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have just two people here now. I would probably start with Patricia. You tell us, you reflect on the implementation opportunities and challenges you have had as a steering committee member in the last 1 year, but let's say 2 years now because of COVID. So we start with you. You have just about 5 minutes to talk because altogether we have just 25 minutes.
Thank you, Jonathan, and good morning, colleagues. And thank you for this opportunity to be able to share some of the reflections on our implementation. Having been in the partner universities, I want to say that the opportunities that were there are great. Now, I want to start with the opportunities. I will say at least 5 of them, and then look at some of the challenges that we went through. It all started when we started on face-to-face and then ended up on online teaching. Now, I want just to say that the program was timely. That is, the PedaL program was quite timely because this is the time that the higher education required transformation to meet the labor markets and industry needs. We noted that the labor market needs is that more the required graduates who are able to do what their certificates say, not just presenting the certificate. They wanted, the labor market wanted people who can be able to have competencies that required to do. And that means that higher education required to, was in a position or at a time when they required to refocus on the teaching and learning process, which PedaL was able to present. It came at such a time when it was really needed, that is in the transformative curriculum. Now, at the same time, just along that time, there was now the need, when there was that need of transformation and offering of quality education that would meet the market needs, then there were emerging issues. That is now when 2019 came, towards the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020, now there were these emerging issues of COVID-19. And this one now necessitated on the online teaching. And I'm happy that PedaL had already set ourselves on going online, and there was quite a demand on the complete redesigning of the curriculum, the facilitation, and the assessment, which was quite required a very fast change. And of course, PedaL was offering that. That was now a great opportunity for the universities, especially the partner universities. Now we were able to have trained our lecturers, and more than that, we were able now to offer more. Then the third one, the third opportunity is particularly for Kenya. There is now the educational reforms, and this is where we are now going to competence-based education. And I want just to say that last week I was sitting in a training for this CBC, that is competence-based curriculum, on the implementation. We were being trained, and I'm happy to mention that I could hear whispers from some of the lecturers who have gone through PedaL, and they were saying that CBC is all about PedaL, right from the design going all the way to facilitation and also the assessment, especially now the demand for curriculum, competence-based education. They are focusing on how they can be able to assess using rubrics and also the portfolio. It was very encouraging, and that means that that was the timeliness. Now, the other one, because of the CBC, now we require to change our training. And one of the demands from that, the KICD, or Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, is that our universities must change our curriculum. We must redesign our curriculum in order to facilitate it well, and then be able to present. PedaL is offering that. And also because of those challenges, the university is offering more support. We are really getting more support, not only from the university, but I believe from the government to fill this gap. Now, there are those demands. And of course, the latest one, where there are quite demands on the transformation of the university's teaching. We have started with the University of Nairobi, and we are believing that by the time they get to Egerton University, we shall have actually repositioned ourselves as far as pedagogical skills are concerned. Now, challenges, one of the challenges, and this one we really have to contend with it, is the change of attitude. Many people or universities and even us as human beings desire to remain our status quo, to retain our status quo. So you'll find that many of the times people feel that it is demanding, we are not able to avail ourselves. But I think this one we shall overcome it, because as we continue, as our director Beatrice has said, we need to have resilience. We need to have to put our foot down and say that this one must be done, and we encourage our members. Of course, the other one is the financial constraints. And this goes ahead with the internet cost of the bundles, especially for the students who keep on complaining that they don't have. The government may try to do that, and we are hoping in future this issue of internet and buying of bundles will be supported. And of course, the usual thing of the unstable internet, which you have to go with, we have just noticed how we keep on being thrown out, especially when it comes to live sessions. The interaction of the students with the platforms, especially like in our university, is quite a challenge, but through a lot of training and support, we are finding that the students are coming up. So as we now move to complete online, we know that PedaL will be happy. I think that's what I have for now, and thank you for the opportunity to make this presentation. Thank you.
Hello?
Go ahead, Baba.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, so now I think I won't have to repeat or summarize the things that Patricia has just said. I will now call on Father Max. So you also have about 5 to 10 minutes to tell us the various implementation opportunities and challenges you've had in Uganda Matters. Father Max.
Thank you very much, members. Good morning, everyone. This is from Uganda Matters University. Sorry, we cannot put on my video because I'm in a place that is very noisy and with other activities. From Uganda Matters University, I talk about our successes and opportunities. I talk about challenges and the future of PedaL at our university, especially as we scale it up. PedaL, UMU presented a number of courses as we began, and we journeyed together with these courses even throughout the COVID as training staff members and also trying to work on the programs. So with COVID, we got an opportunity to scale up into the entire university programs, because here when hello?
Hello, we are hearing you.
Yes, when COVID hitting, we had to close the university and everything had to go online. And we had an opportunity using PedaL to train staff members to go online. And through that, we were able to scale up to the entire university programs. Then we have worked on an MA program, Pedagogical Leadership, and also worked on the Center for Professional Development. I am happy to say that our council, University Council, approved the center, and the center will house and will host the MA program, Pedagogical Leadership, which we are now advertising to other people at other universities. And please, you know that even from your universities, applicants are welcome. Some challenges. Online teaching still gives some issues, as some students and staff members, parents, and some stakeholders do not understand it. So we still have to educate a number of people on how to go online. And secondly, COVID hit us hard as a private university, as a private institute. We had some members of our university leaving the university. So meaning that we are training and retraining, we train people leave, but we are working on around it. Then the future. Although some staff members have left the university, we still have a big number of trained lecturers at our university. So the future is in the Center for Professional Development, which I said that the council has approved. And this center will be reporting the office of the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs. And the center will spearhead the Pedagogical Leadership Program, and we have already signed an MOU with PASGA on how we are going to scale it up. So we are very optimistic that our network, the network we have created through the PedaL, will guide us and help us and boost us on how we shall make the program, the MA program, a successful program at our university and elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Max, for the presentation. Now I want to call on Esther. She will be talking about the situation in University of Ghana. So Esther, it's your turn. You have also about 5 minutes to talk. Thank you. Esther for UG. Hello? Okay. I think I should say a number of things about the University of Ibadan. Probably if Esther is back, then we'll be able to talk more. Well, in University of Ibadan, PedaL is well established, and we've actually had a number of step-down activities. We cascaded to a number of faculties until suddenly we couldn't continue, and then because of strike, and then COVID came in. At that level, we had the opportunity of carrying most younger colleagues along. That is the opportunity. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, Esther, probably I shall allow you to talk first. Yes, you can go on, Esther.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm on the road, and so it's going to be very choppy in a car because I'm going back to work. I'm going to work, so I'm in a car. And
yeah, we can hear you, Pierre.
Yes. Okay. So in terms of what we have been doing in University of Ghana, the usual, our situation is really not different from too many of the other universities. And we needed to have some way of making sure that we continued our teaching and all of that. And so in terms of implementation, we realized that we needed to come on board in terms of using what we have done in the PedaL training. So we organized some training program, and some of the faculty who had already been trained acted as some of the resource persons, and we did get some crash program, in terms of online teaching and how to go about it. And we have been doing that. The challenges we have had is because of the way our academic year has had to be structured. It's been difficult to get people to come back together for another meeting. But the way forward is that the good thing is that we now have what we call the Center for Teaching and Innovation in Learning, Center for Innovation in Teaching and Learning. And so we want to use that. It's going to be the hub where we are going to, what would I say? We are going to leverage on the knowledge and the activities from PedaL to now go on to, let's say, a more university-wide kind of training that we would have. And so we are now bidding our time and waiting for when the academic year ends, our academic year ends, to start training more and more using the PedaL opportunities that we have. And the PedaL opportunities that we have are very, very critical to what we are going to do. We also have, for us, what has happened is we had to modularize. We changed the management came up with a system where we have changed the way the academic year was running in order to reduce the numbers of students on campus at a particular time. So we divided them into 2 sets. And that has put a lot of, should I say, a strain on us as lecturers, because we are split, we are modularized, and we just have a short break. So we realized that if we want to start any training at this time, it might not work. But as soon as the last module ends, we will have enough time to start the training. But lecturers who have gone through the PedaL training have testified as to how useful it has been for them in terms of moving forward and coming up with more innovative ways of going through this challenging period. So yes, we are going to leverage, University of Ghana is going to leverage on the PedaL training and continue to use it in the years ahead. So for now, that is what I would have to share, and then come back later when there are other specific questions. But University of Ghana has found the PedaL training to be very useful and critical to the success of what we are doing now.
Yeah,
so,
thank
Chair,
you.
Yes.
Thank you, Esther, for that presentation. So the road wasn't as bumpy as expected. So we heard you loud and clear.
Yeah.
I can see Catherine is on the platform now. Catherine Chauvin.
Yes, please. Good morning, everyone. Oh, good morning. Thank you. Yeah.
Good morning. You are welcome. So, can we hear your experience from the University of Ibadan?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Sorry, I joined quite late. There's some other issues I needed to attend to. Right. For us at the University of Ibadan, we actually started with the implementation after the training of quite a number of our staff. We particularly were affected by the national strike we had, and then COVID came. Although the training was useful at the inception, because we tried, when the school resumed, we tried to go online, teach our students virtually. But we had quite a number of challenges, some of which are the fact that we had issues with connection. Data was also a big problem, because it was quite difficult for the university to come up with data plan, which eventually was released anyway. And beyond that is the fact that the technological tools that we have were not that advanced in such a way that would give us a smooth kind of run as other universities that are engaged in this online prior to this.
Catherine? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. I think we have lost her. But I hope others can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, I need to be sure that I need to be sure that I'm not the one off.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Catherine was trying to tell us about the challenges we had in Ibadan. I need to say that when COVID came, we've been actually affected by the academic staff strike that went for as long as 9-10 months, and then COVID came in, so the combination actually affected us greatly. But most importantly, when the issue started, when the university was to go online, people who have trained under CATA formed probably about 90% of the individuals that facilitated the online training within the university. And this group of people were able to go, they appointed coaches many of whom were people who have been trained by PedaL. Now they move from one place to the other, to one faculty to the other, from one department to the other, appointed liaison officers and things like that, in order to make sure that they are able to resolve all problems. The good thing about it is the fact that we had many young people who are actually very interested, and they learned and they've been able to do things much better than some people who have actually gone through the training. So that was a very good one. I'm sure there's now a wide range of people who have been trained, who have now added their own personal skills, and they are now much better. And then the other problem is that we had quite a number of old people who said no, they were trained analog. It's not at quarter to retirement, at the twilight of their career, that they will start learning. And some came and said, I can't even use computer. So there's no way I can teach you computer. All these things came up, not even just at their own departmental level, it came up even up to Senate. So these are some of the challenges. There are some old men that really we couldn't just change. They are just bent on what they want to do. The other challenge we actually had was that when it was to start, it came so sudden. And we have to adapt ERT, that is emergency remote teaching. We couldn't go the full-blown way of PedaL, teaching people how to design courses and things like that in details. So they were just taught to a level that at least they could implement and have some online teaching and presence. And the other problems he actually talked about was issue of data. The university decided that, okay, let's give data to students and to members of academic staff in order to support the online teaching. But unfortunately, the communication company disappointed. The data didn't come until towards the end of the various activities, which was really very disappointing. And also there were a lot of issues that has to do with technology. Even for people who want to use their own personal modem and things like that, you can imagine what has happened to catching now. So these were some of the kind of things that happened during this period. So because of that, we had quite a number of students, instead of staying back in their various homes and listening to lectures, they decided to come to campus. But because we didn't make accommodation available on campus, they rented accommodation around campus, and they organized themselves into tutorial groups. And there was so much pressure at one time that people said, look, it's difficult to go completely online, that it's better to have a blended mode. And that was why the university had to set up a committee and give opportunity during the first semester that students can come in. So I think about 2 weeks to the exam for a kind of revision. So these are some of the opportunities and the challenges we have had. But I think COVID has really helped us and has pushed us further into online teaching. And I'm sure by the time people are settled down, there are quite a number of trainings that are being planned before, which I'm sure will probably be turned to train people about online training now. So probably at that level, we'll be able to improve further. Thank you and God bless. So I've spoken for Catherine. I think with this, I will have to round off now. I think we have spent 25 minutes so that we don't exceed our time. So I want to thank you, colleagues, for listening. We've had presentations from Egerton University. We've had presentations for Uganda Matters. We've had presentations from University of Ghana and also from University of Ibadan. So I want to thank Patricia. I want to thank Father Max. I want to thank Choven and also Esther for the presentations. So thank you and God bless you.
Cool.
Over to you, Professor Imba.
Michael, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Haimba, and thank you very much, Jonathan, for those insights. The panelists in this group have already been introduced, but just to ensure they're here, we have Dr. Jekitule from Tangaza University College. Dr. Jekitule, are you available? Yes, he's there. Thank you very much for coming on. We have Professor David Wamukuru from Egerton University. I hope Professor Wamukuru is on. Professor Wamukuru, are you in the house?
Hello, good morning. I'm there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And we have Dr. Sanet Hauput from Pretoria University of Pretoria. Do we have Dr. Hauput here? Dr. Hauput, are you in the house? Okay.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're going to. We have. Then we also have Dr. Anil Kumar from Masai Mara University. Anil, could you please say hello?
I'm here.
Okay,
hello.
You're welcome. And then we have Dr. Oluwafeikemi Popola from the Osun State University. Wow, she's right there. Thank you very much. And now we are going to begin with Dr. Jektule from Tangaza University College. It's a constituent college of the Catholic University of East Africa. He is a team leader of pedagogical training in the college, and is very passionate about constructive alignment. Dr. Jektule, please take it up from there. You have about 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Walimbwa. Are you able to hear me?
Very well, loud and clear.
Great. I was told that the first thing I should I should do, that is through PedaL, to make sure that we are able to actually hear one another. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I will share about Tangaza University College, opportunities of PedaL, implementing PedaL, and also perhaps move further that. So at Tangaza, we had an opportunity to implement PedaL online, facilitation, design, facilitation, and innovative assessment. So we have trained 57 of our colleagues linked to Tangaza University College. So with that, then I want to look at the opportunities that PedaL actually posts for us. So the first is I see PedaL as a laboratory, and I'm borrowing this from my very Prof Kayemba. PedaL is a laboratory, and in a lab you can do a number of things because you practice. The very first thing that PedaL has brought about are synchronous learning, and in this we have learned a number of things: the learning management systems, the wikis, the blogs, and so on. And we have also gained skills in synchronous tools, and that's what PedaL is actually giving us, sharing these skills. PedaL has also So PedaL has actually brought about the issue of practicing. That's the micro teaching, and linked to that is the issue of pedagogy, the constructive alignment. And a number of us and my colleagues, they actually they have a lot of content, they have a master's degree, and then they are told to go and teach. The lucky ones, they are actually aligned with a professor to co-teach and then move on. So they learn on the job. But PedaL has brought those skills whereby you can now say, well, we are confident also to teach online and also face-to-face. Now, the opportunities that it has brought about are really the skills, enhancing skills in higher education. As I pointed out, our colleagues, 57 of them linked to Tangaza College, have been trained. And also educators in secondary schools. So at Tangaza University College, we have now started seminars to train head teachers in secondary schools to actually embrace this PedaL. So we offer the trainings actually monthly to train them on the skills, because I've seen it as a gap in their schools. And also PedaL has, can apply PedaL in the institutions of higher learning, the TVET. They actually require these skills. So these are really opportunities for PedaL. And the fact that now the classes are online, the classes, so PedaL can be used, you know, because of the skills that we get. We can actually apply it online. We can apply it when we are doing face-to-face, especially the constructive alignment face-to-face. We can apply it in conferences. These skills that we get, we gain in PedaL. And we can apply it in meetings. Like last week, in our university, we were having a board meeting at our department, and we have to vote, you know, for the various programs. So I actually said, well, why don't we vote through the chat? But then one of our team leaders was saying, let's look at the time. So this program we voted at less than 2:05. So I said, why don't we, before we vote, we actually write the program, and so we can say, oh yes, no, we can vote. So that simple thing on chat, it actually helped quite a lot in facilitating the meetings in our department. So these are, I see as the opportunities for PedaL in our college. Then the implementation challenges. Yes, I think my colleagues have already pointed out. One is the devices to facilitate online education. And especially we are looking for, in terms of our students, especially those who are undergraduates. Most of them, they don't have the devices that they can use to facilitate learning, especially online. So that's really an implementation challenge of online. We're using PedaL online. Then the basic technological know-how. Our colleagues, at times they have some phobia, and at times not really phobia, but at times that they are not able to use some of these gadgets for learning. So you have really to tell them, click there, you know, and click there. So the knowledge is a bit low. So that poses actually a challenge. And this has been actually pointed out already with our area speakers. Technological downtime, yeah, this is a challenge facing, you know, all of us as we implement this. And then an elephant in the room is, I say, well, who moved my cheese? And I think also the area speakers pointed out the issue of comfort zone, the issue of inertia, where you say, well, I've been teaching this course, you know, this way, so I have to teach it the way I've been teaching. So that's really also a challenge. And this I've noticed from perhaps the neighboring and the closer universities as well, the issue of inertia, that where we want to be in our comfort zone. So anything new, you say, well, no, this one, no, we don't want to actually to take it on board. Yeah. So this is really perhaps what I would like to share, Prof. Walimwa. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much. That was very, very insightful. Colleagues, I have to give him more time because you've seen how insightful his presentation is. Thank you very much. And all the way from, we have just listened to Kenya. I would like to cross all the way to West Africa. Dr. Oluwafemi Kemi Popola, please make some insightful presentations. Can you unmute yourself? Unmute yourself first. Thank you.
Good morning, the moderator of the session. Good morning, everyone. Like I've been introduced, I'm Oluwafemi Kemi Popola. from Osun State University in Nigeria. And I'll be sharing briefly on about my reflections on implementation and challenges of PedaL online. Well, let me, of course, start by talking about certain opportunities that PedaL brought my way and by extension to my institution. Before the pandemic that has started in 2019 and shut down the whole world in 2020, the management of my institution has actually been positively disposed to the use of technology. The Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellors wanted us to start our own learning management system, and they wanted us to do something. But change is always hard. We all know that. So there was so much resistance. People were not willing to come on board. The IMTC tried, the university management tried. We all kept going to class face-to-face with our notes, with our PowerPoints to explain and put people in groups as if, no, if we deliver online, people will never get the best out of it. Well, that was our thought. So it wasn't really working. All of a sudden, COVID-19 came and everywhere in the world shut down physically. Contact reduced. And then our Vice Chancellor said, well, over the years, we've been telling you, people come on board, let's go online, and there has been so much resistance. And then he said emphatically, UniOsun would not shut down, even though there is COVID-19. So I think he said it in one other program we are currently hosting on Monday, that UniOsun appears to be the only university in the public sector now that didn't shut down during COVID-19. Throughout COVID-19, our sessions continued. We only had exam physically at some point, but other assessments went on even during COVID-19 and lecture. So for us, when COVID came, we were introduced to Google Classroom, we were taught somehow, and we started using what we knew. But then the opportunity for PedaL training came. And somehow I found myself in the training. I was enthusiastic about it. Like people have told me again and again, you are really enthusiastic about this thing. Yes, I am. I really want to learn it. I really want to implement it. So people were trained, a number of us were trained, and we started using the Google Classroom. And when the opportunity came, I then discovered that there is even more to be used, not just Google Classroom, the LMS, the Moodle hosted on Moodle and things like that. And so I was really willing to try my hands on the things I learned, and I did. And guess what I found out? By way of assessment, that session, that semester, my students did excellently well. They performed better than when I was meeting with them physically. Let's take, for instance, maybe there's an assessment of 100%, and I have people having 95, 90, like about 85% of the class. And just about 2 people had 60% thereabout. Every other person, 90, 95, 92% and above. And when I was asking them what it was, they were like, some of these things you put online for us, you recorded videos, we go back there, we watch again and again, we listened. Then it made me realize that a number of my students were actually audiovisual learners. They would learn better when they see and when they hear. So that brought something to the fore to me. Like there are many ways of really reaching out to these students rather than all we had traditionally taught in our head. Then I was thinking about it again because there was a national exam that held and the result came out recently. It was for people for intending undergraduate. For the first time ever in Nigeria, we had a 14% pass rate, so poor. And I was thinking about it and I discovered that it was occasioned, this mass failure was occasioned by the advent of COVID-19. Students couldn't go to school, they couldn't interact with their teachers. And even when school said they went online, what were they doing? They were just dumping materials for them, just like we were doing before I got exposed to PedaL training. They would just put material there. You read, if you like, read. If you like, don't read. At the end of the day, the students challenged a national exam and it was a mass failure, just 14% pass rate. But for us in UniOsun and for people who have been opportune to participate in PedaL, we knew better how to interact with our students, with our learners, and how to facilitate delivery better. Initially, I had thought that it would not be possible to assess until we got to the course on innovative assessment. And I said, wow, so nothing really is impossible, in quotes now, when it comes to delivery of education as per either blended mode or fully online. But unfortunately, as the universities opened, the enthusiasm went down. Before then, a number of our learners have been able to develop key transferable skills, communication, especially communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. They've been able to work better. They've been able to do things together, things like role play. They've been able to write scripts and act out even where they were and be able to merge it together. But at a point, the school needed to reopen. And when school reopened, unfortunately, the enthusiasm went down and we really couldn't continue with the passion with which we started on. In fact, unfortunately, even this semester, there was no opportunity to interact with students online at all in my university. I wouldn't know what actually happened. We couldn't access the learning management system that we've been using. So there is no way to interact with students as it were. Then the challenges are not quite different from what other presenters have said. It seems like some of these challenges are the same all over. The first challenge was attitudinal. I remember in one of the lead universities in Nigeria, not UniOsun now, where I'm running a program, I remember the VC lamenting that he has been trying to get lecturers on board. And this is even an institution that runs distant learning. And the session that caters for the distant learning are doing excellently well. But to mainstream it, is a challenge. They would, especially apology to our older people, just like Professor Babalola said, a number of them are resistant to this change. And in a lot of courses, these are the people that are leading. They do not want to go online. We only keep seeing the challenges. We are not willing to explore the opportunities that are associated with it. Then, of course, there is shortage and inadequacy in availability of the needed resources in terms of manpower, in terms of electricity, in terms of data that almost everybody have talked about. Then, at some point initially, some learners too are not willing to embrace it. That has been said. So I'm just going to focus more on the things that have not been said. Then I noticed that initially I was having a challenge picking non-verbal cues from learners. You know, when you're in class face to face, sometimes your learners or your students do not have to say things. As a good teacher, by the way they react to what you have said, you would know if there is a problem. There was really a challenge because even when we come together asynchronously, people cannot just turn on their videos for a very long time because it involves the use of greater use of data and things like that. Then I also see a challenge in the fact that there is widening gap between people who are able to access this technology and people who are not able to access it. In Nigeria, there are people who are not able to access this technology, no matter what you do. Most are not in the places where they live. They live in rural areas. They can't access MTN, they can't access any network at all. So how then do we bring them on board? It looks to me like we are further widening this gap of inequalities that already exist between people who have access and people who do not have access. So I really do not know if PedaL will really be able to do anything about that. Now, as a way of concluding, opportunities are bound for us. Currently in my institution, people are being trained. Now, after we finish PedaL training, my director of quality assurance, I'm sure she's also online now, had already been speaking with us. How do we step down? How do we do this? And I remember that there was a day I went to office to pick my certificate. And she said, even the PedaL team is willing to train people. Now, not just the UniOsun trained people. And as I currently speak, in my institution, people are currently going through PedaL training. It's named PedaOsun. I don't know if we can see that on our different dashboards. That was specifically designed for the institution where I work. So we can see that the management is really willing to teach people, to train people, so that we can give back to the institution. So for us in Nigeria, opportunity abounds, especially if a lot of people can key into it, and the management sometimes may need to put down their feet. So if they are willing and they are able to put down their feet, that this is the way to go. It is really the way to go. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Oluwafeyi Kemi. I am so impressed with that. Colleagues, you can see that the challenges aside, these things are very, very possible. That is the testimony from Nigeria. And now may I run back to Kenya and then look for Professor David Wamukuru from Egerton University. Professor Wamukuru, please go ahead.
Good morning once again, PedaL champions, David Wamukuru from Egerton University. I appreciate this opportunity. And to me, we in Egerton, we say that PedaL has transformed teaching and learning in our university.
Prof, can you increase your volume a little bit? Can you increase your volume a little bit? Come closer to your machine.
Thank you. I've said that PedaL has transformed teaching and learning in our university. We have one faculty of education where the lecturers in that faculty are trained on methodologies of teaching. The rest of the university staff members who are teaching have not gone through pre-service or in-service training in terms of teaching methodology. And therefore, when PedaL came, we saw this particular opportunity in the capacity building of our teaching staff. So we have seen transformation of our teaching staff taking up the opportunity in PedaL. Currently, over the period that we have interacted with PedaL, over 100 teaching staff, 100 lecturers have gone through PedaL training. And we are happy to say that most of these lecturers are implementing the skills learned through this. I would say, for example, that when COVID-19 came, there was need for us to transform most of our teaching through online. We are happy as a university that our university had put infrastructure. We had started online training before, but it was not in large scale. It was at small scale. But now we were able now to move to large scale training through online. And one of the challenges was lecturers prepare the teaching materials, and they were waiting for the staff in our e-campus to upload these materials in the online platform. There were days and there were I hope I'm not disrupted.
You just stuck a bit, but you can go ahead. Go ahead and wind up.
Thank you. Those lecturers who had gone through PedaL training were able to adjust very fast, and they went through some in-service training, and they were able to upload their own materials so that the students were able to access these materials. So we have seen that opportunity that the teaching and learning in our university has become more interesting. It has become more meaningful. One thing we know is that even for those of us, like myself, who was trained as a teacher, had gone through the methodology, but we had not prepared, I would not say that the education, we say education does not come to an end. We had new skills to learn. For example, the preparation of our classes. So the lessons plan preparation to those who had gone through education and those who had not gone through education was very meaningful. And therefore, it means that lecturers were now able to prepare relevant materials that were going to be more effective in the teaching and bring out the expected learning outcomes. So to the learner, there was opportunity. And we saw a lot of change of attitude with the PedaL coming on board at the institutional level. The institution realized, our Egerton University realized the need to invest in the resources and the equipment that will support this training. The lecturers saw the opportunity and they changed their attitude that, yes, I can do better. Most of them were teaching through lecture methods, but now they were able now to use other innovative methods of teaching that they went through PedaL, through case studies, through simulations, through videos, through photographs. And I'll give an example. Currently, in our semester, we are teaching our 4th-year students. We are taking through what we call micro-teaching. We are preparing them to become teachers. I have seen many of these people who have gone through PedaL sharing with the students the videos of different people using different methods in the classroom. And this has made this very interesting. And the learners become excited. They are interested in learning. And they learn the skills. And they are able to acquire, has also made our teaching and learning to become more relevant and more meaningful, especially the use of the innovations that the lecturers are going through. Lecturers were not aware that there were a lot of resources available that they can use to make their teaching and learning more meaningful. So this, today we have seen it happening. And I can say that through PedaL and of course through PedaL, we have been able to host in our university, we have a program, Master of Research in Public Policy, where the students are taken through the curriculum, and most of the lecturers are using the PedaL skills. And these students, many of them have graduated. We have seen them to be becoming more very resourceful, and they have acquired the expected skills. We have also developed another curriculum, which is going to start this year. This is a postgraduate diploma in pedagogy and leadership with through the support of PedaL, and also using the PedaL training and skills. And most of the lecturers who are now going to teach this program have gone through PedaL, and we see an opportunity to train our school teachers, especially those in primary and secondary school, because as my colleague had said earlier, PedaL is going to be very useful in our country, especially as now we are implementing the competency-based curriculum. The skills learned in PedaL are the similar. They are the ones that are required to teach our students in our.
That will be there. I will get you.
We see that.
Can you please mute yourself if you're not talking? Professor Wamukuru, please go ahead. Go ahead. It was somebody else who was. Admin, please allow Professor Wamukuru to unmute himself.
Sorry, thank you so much. What I'm saying that about the challenges, they have been mentioned. They are similar to those that have been mentioned by my colleague. But the main one is that not all students are able to access the online learning and the opportunities, the skills, the PedaL skills, the innovative skills that we are training through our program, because of the various challenges that have been mentioned at the individual level, the problem of access, the internet, the infrastructure, and even sometimes the RMS program have their own challenges. And our main challenge as a university and the thinking way ahead, and I want to believe this is also a challenge to us as the PedaL champions here, is how do we overcome the barrier to access to learning? Because there are those learners who are not able to access learning because of the regional problems, maybe because of poverty where they come from, because of the access to the resources, the internet, the smartphones, the mobile phones, but also the challenges that are also across the gender issues. We see some regions, the students in terms of gender, the girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, not being able to access because of the gender barriers that are there. So to me, I'll be very interested to see solutions that will help us to overcome the barriers to access to learning, because the transformation coming with the PedaL is something meaningful and something useful for everyone. So somebody being left out, it will be unfortunate. So we need to bring everybody on board. So strategies to bring everybody on board will be very useful. Thank you very much. I appreciate that opportunity.
Wow, thank you very much, Dr. Wamkuru. Colleagues, you are discovering that there are so many PedaL-led transformations that have been sparked in so many universities across Africa. So those are very great insights from all the way from Egerton. Colleagues, in the interest of time, let's run a little bit fast. We have been from Kenya. May I go to South Africa now? Dr. Hauput from the University of Pretoria, are you in the house?
I am, but I'm just going to ask that I don't put on my video. My connection is very poor and it cuts out if I put my video on. So if I can just speak, is that fine?
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. And I really appreciate the opportunity to also tell you what is happening in the University of Pretoria. The motto of our university when COVID started was that no student must be left behind. And I think that leads me to the challenges that we've had. We've given students access to computers. We have tutors online and telephone tutoring. And then we also have a lot of material online. And students that could not access the Blackboard system or the LMS, we also sent them printed material. And I think that was the aim of the university, to look at access. But our biggest challenge at the university is infusing equity. And I think everybody has echoed that this morning, that where we look at students learning online, we specifically have a problem within our health sciences and in our veterinary science with clinical work. How do we get students to do the practical sessions that they need to do, and how do we then evaluate whether they are competent or not? We also in South Africa have load shedding, which is something outside the scope of the university. And that poses a big challenge because when we have especially exams or tests, some students don't have access to electricity and cannot access the material or cannot participate in the tests and in the exams. Then because we are on level lockdown 4 and we're currently busy with exams and access to our university has been, there's no access to the university for students. Students are, their accommodation is in some rural areas or at home. And that makes it difficult because they're sharing space with other members of their family, and it makes it difficult to study, and it also makes it difficult to write a test. So those are the challenges that we currently have with trying to infuse equity. The other thing is just that because we are online, students are now expected to type their answers, and not everybody is competent in typing. Where in the past they could write and then hand in their scripts, we now expect them to type. So the time that we give for exams and tests, we have to look at that. And then a big problem is also cheating. How do we make sure that it's the right person writing the exam? We've had some cases of where students plagiarized or cheated, and those are things that we then have to look at. I think the biggest challenge for us is that because we're trying to instill self-directed learners, or we want to deliver because that is what the industry is looking for, we have to develop the metacognitive skills of our students where they can reflect on their own learning. How do I learn? How do I then present it through reflection? So that was our challenges. And then I think for the opportunities, I'm going to be very short because people have stated a lot of that. But in our university, I think I'm not a lecturer. I'm a support staff member, and we are responsible for the continuous professional development of lecturers. And this whole situation created a huge, huge opportunity for us because we have a lot of academics that are very passionate about their work, and they wanted to learn how can they assist students and how can they help students to complete their academic year. So the biggest opportunity for us was the staff development, and I think that is reflected in the PedaL program as well. And then lastly, I just want to also say that I want to applaud the lecturers and the academics, because they've gone really out of their way to help and to assist and to change the way they're doing things for students and to make them successful. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Halpert. Colleagues, you are now realizing that PedaL is not only for lecturers. It requires very good networking within the institution between all staff that support teaching and learning. So we are proud that you managed to come on board to testify that you don't have to be a lecturer to be in PedaL. And lastly, colleagues, may I call upon Dr. Anil Kumar from Masai Mara University to make his submission. Dr. Kumar.
Thank you very much, Prof. My name is Anil. I'm a faculty member in Department of Computer Science, as well as I'm also Director e-learning at Masai Mara University. Before I start about the opportunities and challenges, I just want to go back where we started the online in our Masai Mara University. It was almost 3 years back when we first time introduced Directorate of e-learning at Masai Mara University. I gave them different opportunities about the platforms, which one you can use. So we decided to go for an open source, that is a Moodle. But when I started training, it was really hard because maximum of the lecturers, they had the yellow notes and they were not able to convert into soft form in a specific format, standard format. So what we decided, let's go for the common courses, large groups, so that we can use as a blended learning first. Then suddenly the pandemic came, and then before PedaL, the pandemic came, and then we moved to the online platform, but it was really, really hard. So many of the lecturers I saw, they started using WhatsApp or email or even the other social medias. Some of them, they started using a live session, but live session was really, really difficult because of the internet connectivity and of course the infrastructure, because many of the students, they don't have a smartphone. So we got the opportunity through our Vice Chancellor, who is also a PedaL champion, Professor Kichik Magak. He introduced us. He said, why don't we go for a PedaL training? The PedaL came, and then around 30 of our staff members, they were trained in the first session, and the number was not very impressive on that time because some of them, they were not able to finish because it was very short time invitation, and some of the lecturers, they were engaged in some other activities. Out of these 10, around 10, 12, they are actually playing a very important role as a mentor this time, because we are also going through second session. And in that second session, we have around 60 members from Masai Mara universities who are going through that PedaL training, and the number is quite good. 53, they are fully attending the training. So opportunities from the PedaL online, we got, number one, we got to know so many new things that technology can be used in learning and teaching. We are sharing knowledge from the experts. We are also interacting with the experts on a regular basis. We got opportunity how to design a standard format of the course, but at the same time we had a lot of challenges also. For example, many of our lecturers, they are loaded because in Kenya, in almost all the universities, full-time lecturers, they are very few. So they are teaching so many part-time. So on that time, it was hard for them to convert the yellow notes, the physical notes, into a particular format, but PedaL gave us a lot of guidance about that one. We can do one by one. Another thing I realized that many of the lecturers, they were thinking that online is just students, they can learn themselves, so we don't have to do much. But later on, they realized that here on the online, we need more engagement. Actually, lecturer has to interact on a regular basis. It's not like classes today and then next week again. So there is no gap here. You have to answer them. That was another challenge. Of course, some of the challenges, they were common, like, for example, internet connectivity, because some of the students, even our staff members, when they are at home, the internet is very poor. Another challenge which I realize, because I'm playing both roles, academician and then the support, passion and creativity, because in online you have to develop content in such a way so that you can put your assessment in between. That one is like, some of them, they are just lazy. They are saying, oh, what can we do? I can place my notes in PDF. That was a big challenge for us. But after PedaL, now the quality of the contents, they are fantastic, and they are really trying their best. Another challenge which we observed, was the practical session, especially in the science courses. So whether it is medical or other chemistry, so that was sold somehow, but not 100%. We were using some plugins which are free, but some are highly expensive. So infrastructure is another challenge, because even inside the universities, we don't have big directorate. Of course, we have started a studio, but in future, we are expecting from PedaL also, we can introduce some technical tutorials also, or courses also, so that they can know the design is this one, but how can we upload those contents in that particular format? For example, how can we edit the video? How can we record the screen during our lecture? Then examination, yes, examination was another one. Of course, we have not done fully online. We were just doing CAT and assignments through the platform, but examination is still a challenge, because earlier we tried safe browser, which is somehow you can block people so that don't go to the another browser or another tabs. But again, safe browser cannot work with the latest module version, which can work with I think 3.6 and later beyond. But now we are still working on that thing. Another challenge is technophobia, because many of the lecturers, is like, for them, is changing from one environment to another one. So that one slowly, I think those who are trained here and they are going through the training in future, they may contribute so that we can encourage other staff members also. So in terms of way forward, way forward implementation, I think we need to work more on PedaL also. For example, if we have more engagement, because some of our staff members, they are really creative, and like I can see, they are playing a very important role as a mentor for other two universities plus Masai Mara University. If we can engage them on a regular basis, whenever we have a training, or whenever we have some other conferences or whatever, so we need these engagement on a regular basis. It's not like after this training we are forgetting these guys, because they are the very important resources. Another one is maybe in future we can work on more simplest way. For example, now I'm monitoring from the back end. I realize that some of the faculty members, they are going to the platform, but if they have not done the pre-training sessions, they don't know what we're supposed to do. So they are going and then asking, now what is next? I can't see this thing. How can I upload the assignment? So Simon is here. If in future, if you can introduce a small section in each and every course where we can tell what they're supposed to do step by step, that one can really help. So this is all, but overall, my experience or our experience at Masai Mara University through PedaL was great, and I appreciate the team is fantastic, especially Mama PedaL and professors. It is really good experience. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Professor Kumar. We are very happy to hear that from all the way from Masai Mara University. Colleagues listening from testimonies across Africa, you discover that this community of practice is worth belonging to. I am sorry we've spent more time on this than we were supposed to, but I am not very sorry, simply because it was worth it. And here, the testimonies, they are great. The future is promising. The challenges are there, yes, but we are pulling through. PedaL has tried to give us the African opportunity to do things the African way. I thank you very much, PedaL, and I hand over to Professor Haemba.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for the testimonies from all those who have had an experience. We are 26 minutes behind, but we shall try to catch up so that we finish by 1. I'll request that Simon tells us what he wants to do with us in the breakout sessions. But when we finish that, then we shall go to an item that was going to come later so that we do evaluation of PedaL outcomes before the aha moments from the breakout sessions. So we shall go to the breakout sessions to talk about how we can enhance student competencies, how we've been doing that. But when we finish that, then we shall go straight to evaluation of PedaL outcomes led by Simon. Then we can come back to aha moments led by Oye. So Simon, what do you want to do with us?
Thank you, Prof. We are now going into an exciting session. Basically, they are, give me a moment, I move my slides. Okay, so we are going into breakout groups now. We have 7 groups. Please stop my subtitles. Yes, we have 7 groups, and each group is led by different resource persons. Group 1 will be led by Bonaventure Haruna, Professor Bonaventure Haruna from University of Jos. Group 2 by Professor Jonathan Babalola from University of Ibadan. Group 3 by Professor Hayamba Ongeti from Moi University. Group 4 by Dr. Michael Walimbwa from Uganda Matters University. Group 5 by Professor Harriet Mutonyi from Uganda. Professor Walimbwa is from Makerere, sorry. Group 5, Professor Harriet Mutonyi from Uganda Matters University. Group 6, Professor Oye from University of Ibadan. And Group 7 by Professor Wanjira Kinuthia. So what we need to do is we are going to have groups of about 14 to 15 people in each group. Now, that group, you are going to have someone who is going to record the discussions, and also you're going to have someone who is going to keep an eye on the watch so that you are not short of time. We'll be there for 30 minutes. Now, the person who was recorded will come back to this meeting plenary and just report aha moments in 2 minutes or less. So we are not going to get the whole discussion of what transpired in the group, but basically those key things that happened within the groups that are worth us hearing about. There are things that are extraordinary. They're not things that we'll find. They're things that the group found very useful or very new or very very innovative, or something that is made us think in a different way. That's what we call here aha moments. Then and then the main question is, I'll go to the questions, but the main thing is about what what the aha moments are in the using about the student competencies. So each group has different questions that you are going to discuss in 30 minutes. It's important that you know which group you are in. The name of the group will be written at the top. They're named 1 to 7. So it's important that you know which room you are in. If you happen by any chance to be thrown out of the room, to lose your internet connection, you'll come back to this room and you'll see a place written breakout rooms at the bottom. I request you to just select that breakout rooms and then choose your room, and then you'll be able to go back to your room. All right, just put that 30 minutes. All right. Next, all participants are encouraged to share. We have 30 minutes, so there is a possibility that we will really have very useful discussions there. These are the questions for the different groups. The first group is discussing about collaboration and is asking about our from our experience applying PedaL, what collaborative learning activities enable your students to learn practical or procedural skills. So it's about which type of collaborative activities enable learning practical or procedural skills. And then group 2, reflecting and connecting. What are some of the examples of learning activities that you have organized in your class while implementing PedaL that have enabled your students to reflect and make various connections? So we're talking about interdisciplinarity, basically, to make connections across the disciplines. A critical thinking from your experience applying PedaL, what learning activities provoked your students to think critically? Group 4, digital literacy, discuss how you applied a specific technology during the period you're implementing PedaL, what worked well, what did not. Group 5, change and adaptability. From your experience applying PedaL, what learning activities did you design that challenged your students to think beyond silos and encourage interdisciplinary or continuous learning? Group 7, innovation and creativity. From your experience applying PedaL, what were some of the moments you felt your learning activities encourage innovation and creativity? What were the pros and cons? And then lastly, Group 7 is about e-portfolios. From your experience applying PedaL, discuss how effective e-portfolios have been in implementing the PedaL suite of approaches. So we are going there for 30 minutes from now, and you are going to be moved to your groups automatically.
Good morning. I don't know if you can hear me. Welcome. Gosh. Hello, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, Harriet, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you. Because I was getting welcome to this group 5, and we are going to discuss change and adaptability. From your experience of applying PedaL, what learning activities did you design that challenged your students to link beyond silos and encourage interdisciplinary or continuous learning? That is what we are going to discuss in this 27 minutes remaining. And so we are to choose a chair and as secretary. If we can do that quite quickly, then we shall have enough time to discuss and share. Can I have just people to volunteer for those positions? Some reason I don't know if I'm being heard. There's something wrong with
No, you are loud and clear, Harriet.
Okay. All right. Can we have a chair? We are many here. Volunteer chair and a rapporteur, and then we can proceed to share so that we can make the most of this time.
Harriet, I can take notes to present.
Okay, let me support Susan by sharing, but I think Harriet, you need to post the question on the chat so that people can see.
I'm being asked to get back to the main room. Susan, can you to run a bit of the chat?
Harriet?
Yeah, I'm posting the question.
You're asking me to
share a bit. I mean, Patricia can start us off so that I can get back to the main room. That's what Simon has asked me to do. But let me first finish typing the question. So that is our question. I put it on chat. I hand it to you, Patricia, to lead the team. And thank you for the volunteering. And Susan, whatever is the aha moments, please.
Okay, thank you, Harriet, and welcome, members. We are 14 of us. I hope I'm being heard. We have already used 7 minutes as we are organizing ourselves. Now, the question is change and adaptability. So this is from our experiences on applying PedaL. What learning activities did you design that challenged your students to link beyond silos and encourage interdisciplinary or continuous learning? Let's hear the contribution of members. So that Susan can note the aha moments.
Thank you, Patricia. I'm Fred.
Thank you, Frederick.
Yes, one of the things that one of the tools I designed, what I encouraged them to use was the block. We were already using, our learning management system was using Moodle, and so I mentored them and helped them to understand how we would use blocks to share experiences, post their topical issues, but also would send assignments to them, and we collaboratively discussed a number of issues during blocks, and they found it very interesting that we could share a lot when we were not close, and even more than before, because I encouraged them and told them that I would credit them for their level of participation, even in terms of discussing what other people had posted and also discussing what I had posted, but also in posting topical issues that were relevant to the team. And they found that very interactive and very useful to all of us. And we've continued doing that. Because previously we shifted some of the things we were discussing, which were topical, from WhatsApp to the blog, and they found it useful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frederick. That is very encouraging. Do we have somebody else? I hope Susan you have noted that. Any other person? Please just unmute and tell us.
Hi, Patricia, it's Natasha.
Thank you, Natasha.
So you probably know that we did use a lot of everything beforehand at the University of Pretoria. And Esther actually did see this, but I think what was my greatest aspect in terms of using PedaL and what we learned in terms of the everything was in terms of our community engagement project. So where we always did everything in person, hard copy portfolios, everything, we had to change and adapt last year. And it's a module that counts 32 credits, and third year normally modules are only 12 credits. So through redesigning the activity, we managed to still have community engagement. And maybe I should just also mention that we do get audited in South Africa by our National Department of Trade and Industry in terms of community engagement. And I think it really challenged the students in terms of firstly acquiring the skill of the e-portfolios as we were taught in PedaL, and reaching out behind silos. Martin Hamala was part of my teaching team. And then also what the students did was they actually still got other partners involved. So not just within the communities, but also, for example, I'm thinking of one who got our National Department of Labor involved. So, and what I really love is that I still get feedback in terms of continuous learning and the students and how they are using these portfolios. And they keep on building on it. And they have also shared the portfolio so that these beneficiary sites, which are all very dependent on social grants and might not get it, but they kind of now also use parts of it as a marketing tool for their own beneficiary sites. So I think we really needed to change and adapt so that we could still have a reflective, meaningful activity, specifically in terms of our third years. And I think we really did it very successful, that it was beyond a silo, was using a community of practice, and the students also helped one another, which I think was really amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. That was very nice, and we really appreciate that. Is wow. It's not even aha, it's wow. Next person. Any other person who has? As we get the other person, I want just to share something very, I would call it an aha moment, when we decided there is a course we teach in fourth year. It's called seminars, educational seminars, and the students are supposed to go to the library or get references. They take a topic on contemporary issues, and then once they take the topic, they're supposed to go and look for references and make notes. And then from the brief notes, they come and make a presentation of their work as we listen, and then from there they are supposed to now come up and write a seminar paper. And this is a 3 CF course, and it is actually mandatory. Now, what we've been doing is we have been doing it face-to-face, but this time with a team of others, we are about 4 of us, we decided that we are not going to teach it on face-to-face and paperwork. We decided to go paperless, and we encourage them to use an e-portfolio. So one of us, we took them and trained them. Each person, they are divided among the lecturers. So you have a group of people are now getting a group of an average of 36 also. And at first we trained them, and what they have done is that they have all opened the e-portfolio. At first they were quite resistant, but I'm so excited when I look at their e-portfolio and the way they are coming up with innovative ideas. Like somebody who is doing something to do with issues of drugs. What I saw in the artifacts, they are bringing artifacts that are related to the topic, which is very encouraging. And when it comes to presentation, we have agreed that they are going to do using Google Slides. And that's what they are doing now, coming up with Google Slides. I'm yet to see now the presentation, how they'll be. But so far we have done the referencing, and they have made the short notes. And what is encouraging me is that they are able to consult with one another, the students, and we are now able to do Zoom. We're doing it online. We are not coming face to face. And the other thing is that they have also formed a WhatsApp group, and they have included us as lecturers. And the interesting thing is that there's a lot of activity and sharing in the WhatsApp group on the challenges they are going through, and also some of the aha moments. One of them was very excited when he was able to just do the first introduction page and be able to present his work and even bringing his own artifacts. So it is quite encouraging, and I'm really happy about it. So that's I'm yet to see how it's going to end, because we decided to start it this particular semester. And one of us told us it's going to be well, and the students are very excited, though they were resistant. This time they're saying it is very easy. They don't have to do a lot of writing up and what have you, and there's no paperwork. All has to be online, and then they're able to publish, and I'm able to see that. So this is one of the aha moments that I have found in application of PedaL. Thank you so much. I hope somebody else can be able to give us. We have 14 minutes remaining. And I can see, Natasha, maybe you need to note this, that and I should perhaps mention that due to COVID, we gave students the options to either do their community engagement physically if they felt safe enough, and others used simulation, which also worked amazingly. Thank you. And Esther is saying, I was pleasantly surprised at how my third-year students took the idea of e-portfolio when I introduced it to them. Okay, that is, Esther says she can't be able to talk, but she has put her presentation. The e-portfolio is working so well. Any other person? Something else that you did? Yeah, quite a number. We are 15 of us, so we need to hear more.
Patricia, if I may share.
Yes, please.
One of the things that I have been doing besides just teaching our students, and mainly because the college is open, we are teaching the PhDs and master students online, purely online. One of the other things that I've been doing is facilitating seminars and trainings. The recent one that I did was with the Association of Commonwealth Universities. And one of the things that I found quite interesting is the approach that we call flipped classrooms. Just allowing the participants to get materials early in advance, and in which case, interesting materials that they will not be watching or reading and getting bored. So the use of cases, both electronic cases and written cases, that can be sent to them early in advance with questions, so that when they come back to the training venue, all you need to do is get them into groups. And the vibrancy in those groups when they are discussing about what they have watched or what they have read, and especially because you've already given them an objective and guiding questions, it is amazing. The last training we did was on participants who are in the advanced career on climate change. And these were from different parts of the world. And just that magic of giving the materials to get ready in advance worked well, especially for the breakout session rooms. So the strategies for facilitation for me that we have been learning and teaching about in PedaL are very, very magical once we get to know how to employ them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much. Any other person? We still have about 11 minutes.
Yes, Patricia, I need to share. Sorry, I'm on the road. This is Raphael.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay. Now, I need to share. Maybe it's very powerful things that I've learned through PedaL, and the facilitation strategies are what I needed to talk about. I teach a project planning and management at master's and PhD level. Issues of using breakout rooms was very, very new. And I was really perplexed with how you can discuss various topics through that strategy. Project planning is a multidisciplinary course program, and one very powerful learning that I got from this is that there was a topic which I was covering, which was touching on various issues, which ranges from sociology, psychology, engineering. So I designed several questions and planned for a Zoom session, which was having several breakout rooms. I used a flipped classroom where I gave a student ample time to go through the areas. And the additional on this, I also invited across the discipline. From the sociology, I picked a friend of mine who is teaching sociology, psychology, and engineering, and looped them into the discussion. And this was very powerful because students had an additional from what they learned through free classroom. They were able to discuss in real time in their breakout rooms with the expert. And I think this had a number of effect, because even the friends from other disciplines that I invited did not know how to handle classes the way I handled them. So they have continued also to do the same. So this was a very powerful model, which I learned through PedaL. And I think with the also innovative around it, it can be very powerful tool for teaching. So I thought I should share with you that. I'm actually moving. I've just stopped to share with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rafael. That's very encouraging. Looks like flipped classroom is really powerful. Thank you so much. We have about 8 minutes. We can still get 2 or more people to share.
Patricia,
Hello.
maybe just in support of Susan's point, I don't think, and also with what Rafael said, is the absolute value of, especially I think in postgrad studies, to use flipped classroom. So by default, our PhDs do get the reading and everything beforehand, because once we get to the actual synchronous sessions, we have so many rich discussions. And then if you also connect it to, so I would, for example, ask them to write a blog, and then students would go and comment on each other's blogs, or the students also write journals when it is a sensitive topic. I teach micro-teaching, so I do also teach things like critical race theory, which is quite sensitive, especially in our context. So students then really can reflect if we use the journal tool. But Susan also mentioned the cases and the e-cases, and I used a PedaL e-case as an introduction, and we had students from in our public policy program, which is joint between University of Nairobi and Ibadan. So we had so many different disciplines there, and just by using the PedaL specific e-case, it fed into my assessment, where the students then had to, within groups, write a policy brief. So we shouldn't forget also the importance of the e-cases, and that PedaL already, they already provide us with e-cases that are ready to use. So I think that is also maybe an aha or a take home for me is making use of what PedaL offers and see how can we apply it then in our context.
Thank you, Natasha. There was somebody else who wanted to say something. We have 5 minutes. That is
Yes.
enough. Hezekiah.
Yes.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Joined PedaL in 2019. I was not a lecturer by then. I was a high school teacher, but I used the knowledge I gained in PedaL to teach my high school students. And I used a number of innovative techniques like e-cases, simulations. And after 1 year, the results were very high. They were amazing. Actually, my classes emerged the best for the last 2 years as a result of change of that strategy. In 2021, I joined now the university teaching. And my first class, I began implementing the issues of learning management system, where we could use discussion forums, we could use the breakout rooms. And from the beginning, it was a bit of a challenge because the students had to take a bit of time to go through all the issues of learning management system, uploading a file, and all that. But later on, after a while, the students really cherished it, and they have come to cherish the online learning, and the results have been very good. So I just wanted to share that PedaL has been of great importance to me as a person in terms of my growth and the growth of my students in terms of their innovative skills and using the online platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hezekiah, and congratulations and welcome to the Dawn's levels. Any other person? We still have 3 minutes and somebody else can share. Any other person? Do you have any other person? And I also want to say, like Susan said, that apart from now using the PedaL strategies in our teaching in the university, we have also been using them elsewhere in training. For example, I am in quality assurance, and we normally carry out assessment of programs where we get a team of 5 from a certain program, and then we train them. Previously, we had been training them on face-to-face, but this time we have turned to training them online, helping them to make use of Google Docs, and also using how they can use Google Forms to collect data. And we have actually trained the first group this year. I think we have trained a team of 9. That's about 45 members. And now they are coming out on how they are going to carry out the self-assessment of the program. And even finally, we also showed them that they don't even have to write a physical report. We just give them a link where they now will set their final report. We have also shown them how they can be able to populate their work on Google Docs, and it was, first of all, it was a bit discouraging, but later on, we did the first training, they complained a lot, and then we had to do another training to actually show them how to do it. And by now, we see that quite a number have moved on. And so I'm also saying that PedaL has not only helped me to do the work in our classroom teaching, but also in other trainings. Like now it has become very easy to train the people and also to show them without it using any contact with a person. They have also shown them how they can also use Zoom, even to be able to get information, to have group, what we call focus group discussions. It's been quite interesting. We are waiting to see how they are going to carry up the self-assessment of program towards the end. Thank you so much. So, and a quick one, Susan, we have less than a minute, just about a minute. I hope you have captured.
Yeah, I've captured quite a number of points. Not sure that time will allow us to present everything, but I will do a highlight of different points. Yeah.
Just do the highlight. Otherwise, less than a minute. I took over from Harriet. I don't know whether Harriet came back to say something before the end. And thank you so much for giving an opportunity to lead the team. Harriet?
Patricia, thank you for sharing. I don't think Harriet is here. Oh, she is. Harriet, you're mute. Maybe she is here, not physically, but as a co-host. So we are going back. Thank you, Patricia, for sharing.
Thank you so much. Let's meet in the main room.